I'm asking the question, why don't we have good markets for data? We're worried about data right now. And I'm a big believer in markets. I like markets. Markets are really good at making things available to people who want them. So, when a market works, products are made available to people who want them. So we need to have good functioning markets. And I think that one of the reasons we don't have good markets for data is, there are a lot of reasons. But two issues that we're going to look at are the ideas of units of consumption and business models. These are things that we're looking at. So a unit of consumption is just the unit of a thing that you consume. And so when we think about like physical media, with music, there have been various units of consumption. You used to buy a 45, you might buy a record, a CD, a tape. With the written word, we've got books, magazines, newspapers, et cetera. And with written media, we actually have a lot of conventions around like, how can you tell if something's good, right? You have an author that you're familiar with, they may have written other stuff, there's a great cover that's compelling, the title is compelling. We actually have professional book reviewers that tell you whether stuff is good or not. But over, about half of my lifetime, everything's become digitized. And so now the unit of consumption is often a file, it's a binary. And so everything's just sort of given away to different units of consumption. And it was actually 22 years ago this week that the iTunes Music Store was launched. And that was a pretty radical moment in that it convinced people to buy stuff that wasn't real, that wasn't tangible. Now, this is the Killers is on here, which they're a Utah band. And I'm going to take a breath, and you can experience the most concise history of Utah ever written. Okay. Profound cultural impact that Utah has had on the world. But increasingly, as people are consuming digital media, it's all happening over URLs. And a lot of the services that we love and that we're familiar with, what they've done is they've created good URLs to consume stuff. And so that's one of the things we're working on is we think that data needs better URLs. Now, I'm really agnostic about what kind of binaries at the end of those URLs, but creating sort of standard packages or units of consumption, URLs that people can share to share data is really important. And the good news is that, like I said this morning, the cloud has become commoditized, and we have amazing technology called object storage that's excellent at making data available via URLs. And so the trick is getting data onto object stores. Okay, so now to business models. So markets work for humans based on what humans desire, right? Humans love chicken sandwiches. So the market will produce lots of chicken sandwiches for people. A lot of people don't care about data. They don't care about environmental data. So there aren't huge markets for it. It's esoteric. So the government's been doing this for a long time. They might be backing off, it seems like, from doing this. And the capital markets have been trying to do it, but they're not great at it. And it's likely that they'll price a lot of people out. So another hard thing with data, though, is that I actually think that a lot of data monopolies are good, right? So data does function as a public good, similar to the way like energy utilities do, or like a sewage system does. You don't want lots of people competing on those things. And so a model that I'm very interested in, a business model for making data available, is what's called a cooperative data utility, where the users who actually need data pitch in and pay for it because it makes sense for them to do so. They'll benefit from doing it. And this isn't just like weird hippie stuff, right? Cooperatives are all over the place. They're a huge part of our economy. A lot of the brands that we're familiar with are actually cooperatives. And then we have a lot of industry associations that aren't technically cooperatives, but they function the same way. We wouldn't have Bluetooth or Wi-Fi without these things. If you're interested in some of these ideas, I did write a blog post a little over a year ago called Unicorns, Show Ponies, and Gazelles. You can get at that URL and read that, and it goes a little bit more detail. And then, surprise, surprise, we have a thing called Source Cooperative. It's right there in the name. And I'm testing this new tagline, a cooperative data publishing utility for cooperative data utilities. That's kind of what we're going for. We really want it to really lower the cost of anybody to publish data, make it as easy as possible for them to put data on an object store, have a really nice URL, so that people can come and say, okay, this is worth my time or maybe not worth my time. Now, you may notice that doesn't look like Source Cooperative as it exists now. We're working with Development Seed and EcoVoice. The CEO of EcoVoice, Amit Bajaj, is here somewhere, and tons of people from Development Seed are here. You can go to s2.source.coop and see what we're building. That's the new version of Source. It's a work in progress. And then we're also doing a survey. So if you're using Source, if you've published data on Source, go to survey.source.coop. Also on the site, there's a big banner at the top. We're asking everybody to take the survey. But we're really stepping on the gas with Source. We're very excited about it. It is our lab where we're working on these ideas to create a better data economy. So thank you.